Recently I showed you this old house I bought, how I added this attic conversion to create an additional story for a spacious, light-filled family home. Now I'll show you the design ideas and materials I've used to get from here to here, along with how much I spent and how long it took me. I need to look at the outside garden, front and back, which is overgrown and looks frankly awful. And I'm no gardener, cutting the lawn is about the limits to my enthusiasm. So, how do I make this look clean, natural and crisp without having to manage weekly tasks like planting and weeding through the warmer months? I try to think of the garden, both front and back, as another room, an extension of the rooms, and not just outside space separated from the rest of the house by doors, walls and windows. In a cooler climate like Northern Europe, this concept is now something which is much easier to make work with the benefit of heat retaining, low E glazing, better insulation, air tightness. These technologies open up a host of possibilities in terms of house extension and improvement planning and design, since you can open up the walls in a way you could never do before because of the heat loss you would get in winter. So here I'm framing the rear garden with a pane of glass which you can see from where you enter the property. So by connecting the big hidden garden visually, I have far more motivation to think about the front and back garden the same way I think about the interior spaces of the house. I've also areas which are difficult to access and so have become a bit redundant, and I really want to re-landscape these areas. They're either too steep to use for anything like this bit here, or too inaccessible with trees or thick growth, like around these perimeter here with these old conifer trees. I want to somehow give these areas some more purpose within the plan of the whole house and its boundaries. Not looking forward to levelling out the land, but by getting a few of the right tools and using a bit of elbow grease, I'm sure I can make it. Now in the next few videos I'll talk about my approach to mixing in these gravel areas and using the bark to soften and retain some planting whilst creating a barrier for the weeds, so I don't need to go back and keep maintaining these areas. Let's start with what I hope is the easy bit. Even me, who has never looked after a garden before, I hope I can probably figure out how to manage grass. Around this lawn, both front and back, the perimeter has become so overgrown with weeds. It's really hard to know where the grass originally stopped and the flower beds and shrubs started. Now, the way my life works and the priorities I have, I'm never motivated to do the weeding. Mowing the lawn and a bit of lopping with these fun-to-use loppers is about the limit to my enthusiasm. And after considering using bark with membrane under and around these edges, I decided it would be best just to extend the lawn to the edges. And turf is probably the most effective and, of course, organic weed barrier in the world. Back to my plan, I figured out the quantity of turf required and allowed a generous additional 20% for mistakes and waste, since I've never physically laid turf before. But I figured even a non-gardener like me could have a fighting chance by reading and watching as many YouTube vids as I could. And I actually posted this garden project on Find My Builder, and I received precisely 0 offers, aside from the crazy prices around at the moment. With no one to do the work, what is the alternative for people wanting to improve their properties on a budget? Enough moaning. I've talked about the well-informed novice, where preparation is everything and the application is usually easy therefore. And the key points I can tell you are as follows. You'll need very few tools: my trusted mini cultivator and its little hoe, a rake, a pick for any stubborn roots, a turf cutter, a Stanley knife with new blade to cut the turf, weed bags to get rid of the water vegetation, and a garden hose. I also bought and assembled this little wheelbarrow, which I'm going to do a review on, but great piece of kit. We need to cut some neat edges to the soil to prepare the sub-base, and then we need to get that sub-base completely weed free. In the UK at least, do not put any fertiliser or weed killer down wherever you're putting the turf. It won't do it any good. In fact, it can damage it. Rake the sub-base even, and hopefully you've got some semi-decent topsoil there. You just need to make it so it's got an even coating. In the next video, I'll show you my plan for this redundant bit of space and how to transform it into something more useful than just some sloping grass, and what I did with all the soil that I removed. Quick spoiler, I never put it in a skip. Hit me a thumbs up to help my channel, subscribe for more like this, and I hope to see you in the next one.